Welcome back to Sendology 101. What's under the tarp? You probably clicked on this video just to see what is under this tarp. What did I pick up? What did I pick up? Well, we'll talk about that here in a moment. We'll unveil what's under the tarp. You can see the Neon Swap is in the shop instead of the Challenger. Really for a couple reasons. Over the winter, I will be pulling this engine. I do need to swap in the third mount. I may do that here soon. This third mount has been nothing but trouble. You may remember one of the other videos where I was talking about swapping it with a new one last year, and the new one took too long to get, so I ended up reusing this one. Well, this one is not a DCR third mount, or if it is, it's an older one. It's been nothing but trouble. I will be getting rid of it very soon to a newer version, a better version. I really think that one is either an old version or a copycat. So I will be getting rid of that. Again, I have another broken motor mount bolt, and I'm just tired of messing with it. This engine runs strong. It runs good. Obviously, I want more power from it. I have the head off at All Motor Mike's. He's a busy dude, so we'll see when I get it back. I also have some Crauer, not BC, but Crauer Stage 3s that will be going in that head. So without a turbo swap, which that Stage 3 big wheel from Turbo Bay is still rocking and rolling, you'd be looking at some nice power. I've had a chance to do some driving with the new paint scheme. This definitely gets some looks. There is no doubt about it. I am actually very happy with the way that the cell shaded idea came out. Probably on a flat color is not the best way to have done this, but it was a try. I could possibly see respraying the car and doing it again, learning what I've learned with the way that I did it. But I still have fun with it. The car still rocks. The car still turns heads. The boost is a lot of fun. After driving the normally aspirated Viper for a while now, it's fun to go back to some boost from a turbocharger. The supercharger in the Challenger is a lot of fun. I enjoy the supercharger. I still think the turbo is my favorite. Overall, I still enjoy turbos. So I think if I was going to do something crazy with the Viper, eventually, one day, a different Viper maybe, I think turbos would be the way to go. Not that I plan on doing that. That's maybe one day in the future. Just kind of check out this 8 liters of wonderful torque and some horsepower. 450 horsepower. Probably around 400 horsepower. 2.4 liters. 8.0 liters. This is a big torquey motor. Obviously, 25 years ago, 450 horsepower was a very respectable number. Nowadays, it's kind of low. But I can tell you this. I love this motor. I love the torque. And this transmission is and maybe mine being kind of a red flag car, this is not the easiest car to shift and find gears in. I have found myself going around a corner or something and thinking that I'm going into second, but I hit fourth, and it just kind of it lugs right through it. You definitely know that you're in the wrong gear, but this 8-liter with all of that torque just kind of absorbs it. So I love the V10. Some people find the sound to be ugly. I'm really, really enjoying this engine. I love the sound of this engine. I do wish it was just a little bit louder. The last owner, that the guy that I bought it from, did say that it was catless, but I really believe there's probably some high flow cats. I need to pull these off eventually and check it out. It does have an exhaust system, the Behringer exhaust system, but they make a catless version and they make one with high flow cats. I really feel like this has high flow cats, but I could be wrong. It just seems a little bit quieter than I would expect for a catless exhaust system, especially knowing listening to the Challenger without cats, and then of course the Neon without cats. So just my thought. I'll have to look into it, but yes, that's kind of just a few thoughts that I have. Enjoying the stripes. I absolutely love the stripes. If you're not following the Syndology 101 Instagram, you're missing some really good pictures. Sometimes I take better pictures than I do make videos. I'm definitely not the best video maker. So, what do we have here? What did I pick up? What is under this tarp that I wanted to tell you about? This is, well, let's just go ahead. Let's see. Oh. It's a bag. It is a wrapped up bag. This is a new old stock short block for that. This is a V10 Mopar new old stock short block. It is wrapped up. I found this engine. Well, initially I was looking at doing a refresh for the Viper. Now, granted, the Viper has right under 70,000 miles on it right now. Okay? That's not a lot of miles, and I get that. It is also a 25, right now, really close to a 25-year-old car that has had an interesting life. It does have some oil leaks, need to replace some gaskets, that sort of thing. But I wanted to do a refresh. As I started looking at things and looking at prices online, because parts are not readily available, it started adding up quite a bit. But I would, it is what it is. It's a Dodge Viper. Well, I came across the short block on eBay of all places. It was a bit expensive. I put a bid in, relatively low. It was denied, which I'm okay with. I'm perfectly fine. But I took that part number, that Mopar part number, and I did some looking with that part number. I actually found several of these engines sitting across the country, new in a shipping container. So, for what I put my bid in, I found the entire short block available. For what I paid for this short block, I would not have been able to refresh this engine. or maybe right under. So it made sense because my goal was never to build this or refresh this engine forged and for massive amounts of power. It was basically to be a factory refresh. Well, here we go. I have a factory new engine, and then I have the original engine that I can rebuild. Now, granted, this is a short block, which means I do need to take the heads, intake manifold, and all of that good stuff and put it on this. And I will do what needs to be done to clean those up so that it is basically a factory fresh engine when it goes back in. But I could not pass up the deal on this engine. Right under $4,000 for a new 0-mile 2000 to 2002 factory engine. So this is what is considered the powder puff engine, which means it is hyper-eutetic pistons. It's not the forged pistons the earlier ones had. It is the lower power pistons, which is perfectly fine for this cruiser. So next year or thereabouts, I will be taking this engine out. I will be having these heads reconditioned and ready to go on this engine. So when I'm done, this engine will be right back to basically factory spec with, factory refreshed heads, all of that sort of thing, so that I can cruise this car with a brand new motor, a new clutch. I may have the transmission serviced. We will see. We'll look at it when everything comes apart. But that is what was under the cover. It's not something, for me to have a factory fresh motor after this long, not a rebuilt, but a factory fresh motor is kind of crazy. And that I had to pick it up. What that means though is when this block comes out, what do you think we should do with it? Forged? I don't foresee going boring it out too large unless the cylinders are just terrible, which I don't foresee that being really much of an issue. But I could see doing forged, a larger cam, that sort of thing. So maybe we'll go out, go all crazy, forge it, get it ready for some turbos. We shall see. And maybe a different chassis. We will see. It's just something that my plans to refresh this motor for the amount of money that I would have put in and time and effort in refreshing that motor, it just was a no-brainer to pick this thing up for right at about $4,000. And yes, it's in a bag. I had planned on taking it out of the bag to show it off a little bit, but I got busy before I made this video and rewrapped it with new preservative paper, and everything looks good. It looks very clean. It is a factory fresh motor. It's got the timing cover, which I already installed, which is one of the places I believe is leaking on my current engine. Just beautiful. It's just a beautiful, fresh V10 motor sitting engine sitting on my shop floor, ready for that beautiful Viper over there. God, those wheels, they do make it. I wasn't too sure about them, but they really work. So, fresh motor for next year sometime, which, as I've said multiple times, I want something that I can drive across the country and be relatively confident that it's not going to leave me anywhere. Now, obviously, you have 25-year-old electronics that I will slowly be going through, checking on things, relays, that sort of thing. My key lock cylinder decided to stop working on the rear hatch, which you cannot get those key lock cylinders, not an aftermarket version. So I'm going to remove it and see if a local locksmith can rebuild it so that I can get into the trunk, or the hatch, if you will. So yeah, but I wanted to do kind of an update video and a clickbait title of that new motor for the Viper. I gotta say, pretty excited about a fresh motor. Not that this one's bad, not that this one needs replaced, but next year, sometime when I am ready, after doing so many other projects, or if something does go wrong, I'm ready to rock and roll. We'll keep on rolling with the Viper. And yeah, so that's it. That's the big reveal. A new old stock Viper motor sitting on the Syndology shop floor. I saw a new old stock engine for the SRT4. Am I going to do that? Probably not. I would like to, but I can't really justify it at this time for that car. It would be fun to do, but really for the Viper, it was just a no-brainer. Can't build one for the price that I paid for this motor. So, other than that, I think that's about it for this update. I hope the title wasn't too clickbaity for you. And yeah, new old stock. And this is the width of this motor. It's crazy. It is almost as wide. Now, granted, this is not the best angle for it, but it is literally almost as wide as the Neon. That is a big 8-liter monster of a motor that's fresh. It's so beautiful. The preservation was great. That's why I made sure that I wrapped it again with the preservation paper to make sure that this thing is nice and clean and ready to go when I am ready. But I'll stop rambling. Thank you again for joining me on Syndology 101, where, for some reason, I have a Dodge Viper. Catch you later.